Today on Youths for Youths, our guest is Igbinosa Osaretin Isaac. He is an accomplished self-taught artist with a background in electrical engineering from the University of Benin. With over 1,500 commissioned artworks to his name, Osaretin excels in both digital painting and traditional mediums such as pencil drawing, acrylic, and oil painting. His art, deeply rooted in spiritual values and cultural heritage, has been recognized by prominent figures, including the governor of Edo State, Apostle Arume Osayi, Lawrence Oyo, the Winlows, and Theophilus Sunday. As the CEO and creative art director at Blended Art Studio and Blast Photography, Osaretin has dedicated himself to creating unique and impactful art pieces. His passion for creativity extends beyond traditional art forms, encompassing skills in photography, video editing, color grading, 3D modeling, drone flying, and After Effects animations. These talents have been showcased in feature films like Prophet Suddenly by the Winlows on YouTube. Thank you so much for joining us, Osaritin. Thank you for sparing some of your time to be on the Youth for Youth channel.
Thank you, May. I'm glad to be here.
All right. Can you take us back to the very beginning, before Blended Art Studio, before Blast Photography? Who was Osaritin?
Ooh. All right. Backstory. Before Blended Art Studio, before Blast, and before people started to know me for what I'm doing at the moment,
Mm-hmm.
I think I was just a curious guy that
Mm.
I like the challenge of learning new things. So I've always liked how learning one thing leads to learning another thing. So I think learning has always been the center of it. So I think it all started where I failed to get into university immediately after secondary school. So I
Oh,
had that break period where
okay.
I failed my jam. So, Uniben cut off mark and all that. So that free time, my dad was like, do I want to go for a jam lesson? I was like, no, I can't spend the whole year preparing for jam. I would like to take
Mm,
my mind off that and do something else. So that's where I found a computer school.
okay.
And so it was just a very simple computer school in Benin. And I registered because I already had passion. Before now, all I do is I just lose things. My dad has tools in the house. So screwdriver, radio spoil, I've lost it, because my
Mm.
mindset is it's already bad. Can I spoil it worse than it is? Highest, it can't. But most of the time, I'll just lose it and find out, now one wire cut, I will join it.
Mm.
They'll say, engineer, you have repaired it. That's how I repair
Oh,
things.
so that was how
Yeah,
you said you were going to go into electrical engineering.
that was the beginning. That's
Okay.
why yeah. So little things, I'll fix it. I'll fix the, faulty extensions,
Mm,
radio, little things, fix bulb, fix lamp holder, fix socket. I was just using all the screwdrivers and the tools in the house. Started
mm.
getting familiar with the multimeter tester. And I was like, okay, this is how you measure voltage. My dad will show me, you put it like this, you want to measure electric, like this, and all that. So my dad was actually a big part of my curiosity for learning. And
Mm,
then he agreed not to let me go to jam lesson as people would normally do after failing jam one time.
mm,
And he agreed to put me through that computer school. So the computer school was supposed to be for a whole year. I think we paid for a year or 6 months thereabout. So, but 3 months in, I was already good at
mm,
most of the things they were teaching because me now, YouTube also has been a big part of my learning. So when I
mm.
have challenges, I switch quickly search how to do how to do.
And you can
So,
literally
but
find
that
anything
school,
on YouTube.
you can literally find anything on YouTube, and I think that also began my curiosity to, if this much if this much insight is coming to me through YouTube, I
Mm,
would love to at least add my voice
mm,
to the giving out of knowledge on YouTube. So that one already puts that desire in me early on that I want to have a YouTube channel. I want
mm,
to, even if I'm echoing what people are saying, if you notice something on YouTube, if somebody drops a tutorial on how to format your laptop, even if they dropped it 10 years ago, you feel like it's an outdated something now. What if I want to format it with Windows 11? So most times you are looking for how to format your laptop in 2025. So it just made me realize that even if people have already created all the content out there to create, you can create a content with an updated version,
Yeah.
with the newest version of something. So anyway, that's as is by the way, Sha. But that just gave me this curiosity of okay, let me add my voice to the whole YouTube thing. So back to my schooling, all that. So yes, so that was like my exposure to was my exposure to first of all working with clients because in
Okay.
that place it was not just a school. The school was also actively repairing clients' laptops. So I
Okay.
went for like a computer repairs class. So clients would come with their computers and will fix it, or rather our boss then, I'm trying to remember his name, but I can't remember. Our boss then will fix it and they will like we will watch while he's fixing it. So as he's fixing it, he's explaining. So this is the motherboard. So this is how you troubleshoot. Troubleshooting was a big word then. So
Hmm.
if you a big word in repairs actually. When you have a challenge, you troubleshoot to find the fault and how to
Hmm.
fix it. So that was how I got introduced into computer repairs. And then Android phone now started trending, started becoming a thing, or started coming into Nigeria then. So some clients would bring an Android phone, and my boss did not know anything about Android phone. It's normal
Hmm.
Java, Nokia, and all that was big then, or BlackBerry. So, well, me now, my curious self, I had to start Googling how to format an Android phone. So maybe some people forgot their pattern now. Then it was pattern that
Hmm.
was everybody was using. Maybe you forgot your
Yeah.
pattern. How do you hard reset it and all that? So I think some clients will come with their phone and I'll be able to fix their phone problem. So that was where they started actually calling me Android, right?
Okay.
Yeah. So it was more like engineer Android. So
Okay.
like
Okay.
if you have Android phone problem, in fact, the school actually now started an Android department with me as their.
Hmm.
So they were like, okay, so we cannot be fixing Android phone, or we have this guy here. So I was
Wow.
not the engineer Android. So that was
Hmm.
how the Android nickname started. So this was all in 2013, whatever.
Hmm.
So I didn't really go for any jam lesson, but as God will have it, I got into university. So it was time to apply for school, right? So I was not thinking
Hmm.
of what course do I apply for. So I was like, I've always been repairing things. I'm in a repair school, probably engineering, right? So which of the
Yeah.
engineering, I was not so sure. Didn't really have too many information about that. But luckily for me, one of my he was my he was he came to work with us in that school, and he was an
Okay.
electrical engineering student in Uniben. So he was in his
Okay.
final year or thereabouts. He just was just rounding up. So his name was Engineer Zeno. I remember his name. He's
That
married
name
now
rings
with
a
kids.
bell. Oh.
Elo Zeno, yeah. So Zeno was, how do I describe this guy? This push, posh, elegant,
Hmm.
well articulate young man, always blowing the client's head with glamour. Like till now, I don't know how that guy did it. He would just when he talks to a client like this, the clients will even pity for him. Like, you tried, though. You really did all that in my laptop. Wow. He was very good with his English. So I
Hmm.
admired him for that. And I actually thought that they taught him that in school. I didn't know that. It's just
Oh.
many things.
Yeah.
Many things you learn on your own. The guy was just so good on his own. So he was very good with
Hmm.
his words, and I liked the way he could. When many times in computer repairs, you don't get to solve the client's problem. You have to explain
Yeah.
to them that you did something worth paying for. He was good at that. Because many clients will want to, some of them want to shout at you, you've spoiled my laptop, you couldn't fix it, blah blah blah. But when it comes to start discussing with the clients, start telling them, the nitty-gritty of the matter is that we have to troubleshoot, the once he puts like five big words together, the client will be like, so how much I
It's
go
such,
pay now?
yeah.
So how much?
It
He did
looked
a
like such a
lot.
big thing that they have to do.
It looked like he took the laptop to one
Mm,
intensive care unit and they broke it down. Yeah, so I admire that.
mm,
So naturally, I just like the guy and I decided to go along that line. Let's do electrical. So that was how I opted for electrical engineering. So that was my introduction to working with clients, interacting with people outside school because my secondary school years was kind of like an introvert. So, but
Okay.
that 1 year in the world, basically,
Mm.
helps me to become less of an introvert. I now start as simple as shaking people's hands. I couldn't shake people's hands before. I was a shy
Wow.
type. If you tell me to shake, I don't
Wow.
understand how to shake people's hands. So, but I had to now be confident, shake people's hands, talk to people, talk to
Mm.
strangers. And I started enjoying that whole stuff. So that drove me to that. So that was basically it. Got into Uniben and a lot of things happened. But how that led to where I am now. So I'm an electrical engineer in Uniben. First year is going well. My result is maybe 4.1, 4.2. I'm still
Mm-hmm.
on the 4 point. I'm happy. Second year, not so well. And I started thinking, first of all, this is not what I imagined university would be like. I thought they were going to
Mm-hmm.
teach me more practical stuff. Like in my father's house, I lose more things than I did in school.
In
Like how many times did
school.
they give you screwdriver? I think there was only one time in one electrical lab that we literally had to, and I was very happy that period. Literally had to like construct a. So what we constructed was like a switch and a bulb, put it on a
Mm.
board and all that. So you have to fix wires,
It's giving
put the
physics
switch together.
practical.
You get that was the closest to practical we had. And maybe later in 300 level, we did one with LED lights and all that. But
Mm.
now, and we now started to hear that, oh, university is not polytechnic. Or polytechnic is where you do practical stuff.
Mm.
University is theory. Like nobody told us.
Yeah.
She would have not wasted our time to come and be doing. But I got to learn that university is more than just the knowledge you get from your department alone.
Yeah.
It again is the community, the people you meet,
The
it's
people
the
you
knowledge you
meet,
get from different
the
areas.
experiences.
So it's the experiences, and
Mm.
overall you're just smarter for it. So you can't say school a scam or anything like that.
Yeah.
But I was not also banking on my degree to do much with.
Mm.
So that led to me now thinking, okay, if I'm not going to have the best results, what else can I take out of this school? And I was
Mm.
like, I think I'd rather take out a customer base so that
Mm.
I will not finish from school looking for a job, but I'll finish from school having already like a brand and a customer base. So I just had a rough idea. I didn't know what it would become. I didn't know whether it would be blast or anything. I had a rough idea. So I decided, okay, I already learned repairs before school. And this is something that I'll be doing in my free time in school. So maybe a friend has a laptop problem, or yeah, bring it to my room, I'll just fix
Mm.
it. Or yeah, give me like 1K. I install softwares for you, I format it, I install antivirus, simple thing. Just use it to buy some little stuff.
Yeah.
So I started to make it like a brand. So I think I called it A Minds. A Minds. A
Okay.
standing for Android. The Minds, just something, I don't know, something catchy.
Something
So
catchy.
so yeah. So I think one word, the one thing that was curious to me was then there was a tutorial called Gorilla Brains in school. So I didn't like that
Yeah.
name. I didn't like that. What kind of name is Gorilla Brains? But then I looked at the reverse psychology of the name. It's that it makes people to
Mm.
want to ask, what kind of name
Mm.
is Gorilla Brains? And the more you ask, the more you don't forget the name Gorilla Brains. So it stuck to
Yeah.
your head. So I don't know. That just stuck to me. So I was like, okay, maybe I should look for a name that people will question and say, what kind of name is this? And then when they finish questioning it, they don't forget it anymore. So,
Mm.
so I guess A minds were working into my mind at that moment. So and A being for standing for excellence and all that.
Yeah.
So I used that brand name to start like a little, what do you call it now? Computer center in school. So you
Okay.
could go, you could print, you could typesetting, all those things. And then we also had like where we could repair stuff. So I did that in one of those. I think the location was at Education Faculty, one of those ETF buildings. Behind those
Okay.
buildings, you have some stores. Yes, my sister actually found the store, so I just joined her. My younger
Okay.
sister then. So I
Okay.
just joined that there. So I did that for like a year or so. Managing that to class was not easy. So I got somebody. That was my first time employing somebody, paying somebody. I
Mm.
felt good about myself. Yeah, I think I was in
Yeah.
300 or 400 level there, having a staff. I was
Mm.
like, okay, that's a good start.
I mean,
But yeah, but I got to quickly realize that working with people is not easy.
mm.
So I a lot of things happened. Sha. The staff was not really good at the job. So it now looked like the work still fell back on me, and the person was just a figurehead there.
Mm.
So I had to let the person go. It wasn't easy. Also, my first time letting somebody go. It's not easy. A lot of first times. I now realize that I don't enjoy preparing laptops for people. That's just the truth.
Mm.
Because I realize that it's a service that people don't like to pay for, especially when you don't successfully fix the laptop. And many a times people that are making a lot of money from laptop repairs, because that's one thing I've always liked to do in anything I do is before I do anything, I try to check people that are already doing this thing ahead of me, how are they faring, right?
Yeah.
So if I want to be a pilot, I would like to meet with or observe other pilots. Are they doing well?
Yeah.
So I just observe all the computer repairs people I know, and very few of them were successful.
Doing
Successful.
very well.
Before I go into any profession or any field, I like to see what other people are doing. So, for
Mm.
example, as an electrical engineer, I have to look at okay, the electrical engineers that I know, are they doing well? Many of them were lecturers, many of them were NEPA people cutting wire, cut wire, they'll swear for you. I'm like, that's not what I want to be. That's not, it doesn't look attractive to me. So same thing with computer repairs. I checked computer
Mm.
repairs and I was not liking what they were doing. Many of them were liars. You have to
Yeah.
scam the client, tell them that we changed motherboard, we changed this IC and that IC, and they didn't change anything because they want to collect more money. I was
Mm.
like, I don't want to be so devious and manipulative. So I
Mm.
want to do something that people will actually pay for the service, not just whatever. So I found out that I've always known how to draw too. So anyway, long story short, I drew for a friend in school. They loved it. Drew for someone else. They paid like 5,000 now, thereabouts.
Did
And
you
I was like,
ask
oh, I
for
can
or
pay it.
did you ask for the payment or the person just gave you?
Um, okay, so when I drew for a friend, I didn't ask for payment. I drew for like some friends, I didn't ask for payment, but they liked it. Then I was
Mm.
not good at shading. I could just get the nice sketch and looked the resemblance was there. So I was also curious, like, how is that I'm able to just sketch something and the resemblance is there? So I also now understand, like, okay, what makes the resemblance? But long story short, someone now reached out to me, like, okay, they want it framed. So I was like, to frame it, I have to buy frame. I've never bought frame before. And I didn't even know where the self frame. So that's one thing about business that I've gotten to learn is a large part of any business is contact, is knowing
Mm.
where to find what and who to call for what. So I didn't have any contact. I didn't know anybody making frames. I didn't know anywhere to buy frames. In fact, I thought it was not even a market. I didn't even know there was a market there.
Mm.
So so getting into it, putting one step into it, my first frame, I had to go and borrow, or should I say stole? I actually went to our house and removed my blank picture from one frame. I made my artwork that side, put it inside and delivered it. I think that was when I got paid first. It was like
Mm.
10,000 naira or five. It was 5,000 naira. 10,000 naira was big
Wow.
then. It was 5,000 naira, and I was really happy. Like, whoa, I actually did the job, framed it. Like this could be a business. So I remember telling Ogaga then. Ogaga was in the middle of the story, friend of mine. Ogaga then, I want to be drawing full time. I will stop this repair. No, no, bad idea. Do the two. Do the two. I was like, I'm not enjoying repairs. I want to do drawing. So that was where I got into drawing, started branding myself. So from Engineer Android, it was not like Engineer Android drew it. So
Mm.
of course, after a while, I just moved the Android. Android drew it.
Yeah.
So for those that saw those posters in Independent, it was me just posting some of my drawings. I drew see me and Fa, posted on
Mm.
Facebook. I drew a few other drawings like that. And then I think there was a time I now drew Mona Lisa, and I was like, guy, I can draw. That was so good. Fancy
Mm.
drawing of Mona Lisa, and it came out well. So I realized that this was something I did well. This was something people are willing to pay for. And I was just really pushing it out there. And I noticed something again about businesses. The way you carry your business, the way people carry it. If I
Mm.
choose not to post about it, in the minds of people, you're no longer active in this thing. Maybe you're
Yeah.
not good anymore. Maybe you're not doing it anymore. You won't get calls. So those people that always flood their DM with their work, believe me, they are making money
Mm.
because every day somebody's mind is, oh, if I want this thing, this is the
This
person to go
person
for.
does that. Yeah.
Yes. So I did that very well, at least to the best of my ability then.
How are you doing that in
From
school?
in school,
Yeah.
I drew at night. So
Okay.
I was still up all night. I remember then my mom would just be feeling bad for me, like this guy does not sleep. So I'll stay up all night. But I got faster. Before I could take like 10 hours to draw, I started getting faster, 4 hours,
Mm.
3 hours, 2 hours, you know. So I got faster with time. I got to start finding out better materials that will make my work easier. I started to get materials, I started to get, frame shops, know where they frame things and all that. So I didn't have to steal frames again. They're gonna
Yeah.
pay for frames.
So you
So
got the
how I was in with
contact and
school,
all that. Mm.
yeah, I started to get contacts and gather contacts together. I realized that was a huge part of the process. And then I
Mm.
started to like see other artists too and motivate myself. And sometimes intimidate myself too, because some people are out of this world with the same skill. So that just started and then I was like, okay, I've always loved YouTube. And now YouTube is helping me learn how to draw because that's how I learned how to draw. I never learned under anybody else. I learned through YouTube. So I was like, what if I start teaching the little I know on YouTube?
Mm.
And my YouTube channel started 2019. Tried to make a couple of tutorials, found out that making YouTube is another world of its own. You need to dedicate your life to it. It can be that bad.
It's
So
time consuming.
it's time consuming. So I started getting into okay, you have to understand lighting a little bit. You have to
Mm-hmm.
understand sound a little bit. You have to understand cameras a little bit, both cameras. Long story short, I was able to get my YouTube video quality good, but I didn't settle down to write. So there was no content most of the time. I could sit in front of the camera and just be ranting, but there was really no defined content. And I think that is still a struggle, although now I'm writing more, but I just realized that having all the lights and all the setup does not give you content. You have to sit down and write. You have to have your
You have
content.
to plan it.
So
Yeah.
you have to plan it. But AI is helping us now, Sha. We can ask ChatGPT to do the thinking for us.
True. True.
And when they finish thinking, ask it to script the content for you. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's it. That's how I started.
So basically, as a student, then to when you started your Android Druid, to publicize it, you were printing posters and pasting around, sending people DMs, asking people to
Yeah,
refer
and WhatsApp
you.
broadcast message. Yeah,
Oh yeah, that too. That too. Amazing. Amazing. You pushed your work
yeah.
out there. Okay,
I
so
pushed it because I genuinely thought it was good and I liked it. I wanted
mm,
people to see it. In fact, I was more of just see my work, even if you don't patronize me, see what I can do. And
mm,
people like that. I had some people when I stopped sending the broadcast asked me like, I need to do the broadcast. I used to like seeing
wow.
them. There was a time I printed smaller copies of those works and shared it in church. People were literally dragging it. Like they just wanted to
Wow.
have it and go and maybe gum it on their wall and all that.
Wow.
So they're like, I have this Mona Lisa before. Print this one for me. Print this one for me. I'm like, okay, you guys like this one. So I noticed that people liked it and I just like putting it in this space too.
Yeah. So you believed in your own work first. You believed that it was good and you had to share it with the
Yes.
world. And then the world automatically believed it was good with you. And they saw the quality of what you were
Yes.
doing. Nice,
Yes.
nice. So far
Yes.
now, you've completed over 1,500 commission artworks. That's
Yeah.
very, very massive. How has that changed your mindset? Especially like making money and, growing in the business. How has it changed your mindset about your business?
Um, People say quality over quantity,
Mm,
right? You can just have like five amazing works and they all sell for millions and billions. As much as I believe in that, I also believe that you will only improve faster after several tries, several
mm,
attempts. So yeah, there's a point where you peak. There will be a point where after like 500 works, you know that you're not improving anymore. You're just there and all that. So naturally, what I did there was I got tired of drawing
Mm.
and I started to add color to it. So I started learning painting.
Painting.
That's where I went into oil painting. So I
Mm.
left, I didn't push away the pencil drawing, but I started to challenge myself with oil painting. So I'm still challenging myself with oil painting. And I think your painting and some other painting are one of my first paintings, right? So yeah, people don't know that. So I
Wow.
did, yeah, so that was when I got into oil painting, just so that I can try something new and not get bored. And
Mm.
the way it changed my mindset is people will pay for value, that is good, but most importantly is branding.
Mm.
Because I still found out that there are people that are not as good as I am, that are still doing way better than I am with the same skill, with fewer works to their name, that are
Mm.
doing better. So I feel like one thing we lack in this part of the world is managers. We don't really have people that want to manage a talent, I'm a talent manager. I had
Mm.
somebody just slide into my DM once in a while and say, oh, I can manage you and all that stuff, but I didn't really see it as something that would work. So I didn't really put my hand into it. But I think if I had a manager that was already in the business, that
Mm.
already knew the collectors, knew what to do, they would be able to position me better in the art space. And I think I
Yeah.
would have done way better in a shorter time. You understand? So I think one thing that is challenging with creatives and us artists, especially in this part of the world, is we are everything by ourselves. We are our own
Mm.
social media manager, we are our own brand manager. People will tell you post only your best works. So you just try to wear so many hats at the same time. And I think if I had if I had better organization, management, I think I didn't even have to do that many works.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't really need to do that many works to make the same amount of money or to become that good. Because many times being good is a matter of exposure. If you travel to a very good art gallery,
Mm-hmm.
within 2 or 3 months, you'll be better than if you spent start in your house doing the same thing
Mm-hmm.
200 times. So that's just something I like to add to it because I think musicians have it better in this space
Yeah, there's a lot
where
of managers. Mm.
yeah, you can just be signed into a record label. They already have a
Yeah.
setup for you. You only
Yeah,
just
there's
to
a
drop your
system to
quality
follow.
content. There's a
Yeah.
system to follow. They are going to be pushing your works. They're going to be this. You just make your music and then you'll be fine. But there's no record labels for artists and all that. So I mean, about 2 years ago, I went to Lagos and I tried to find, art communities I could join. Well, they were not really taking. Some of them were like, oh, we don't take anymore. We are full. Some of them, I couldn't really get into anyone, which I would still
Mm.
like to join something because I think the growth process will be a lot faster when there is somebody out there that says, you do your work, however you push it, I'll
Mm-hmm.
get it cut. I don't mind. But they really believe in what you do and they will really help you take it further. So
Yeah.
that's what my mindset has that's how my mindset has shifted. Like
Mm.
I didn't have to do that many artworks.
Yeah. You didn't have to do
Yeah.
so much to get as much as you
No.
have. Yeah, very true.
Yeah.
But I mean, so far you've been doing a good job managing yourself. You've grown your business from Android Druids to a very recognized brand as Blast. And now you have people, you have a team, right? I know that you have certain people working with you,
Yeah.
working for you. So how are you able to manage that? How are you able to bring in people? How do you know the people to bring in even? Like, how did you build your team?
Um, Remember I said that when I was leaving school, when I was in school, I said if I'm not going to leave with a first class, like a very good result, I want to live with a good business. The second thing I said was I want to live with good relationships.
With relationships, yeah.
Yes, and I was conscious about those two things. I'm glad I had sense early in life. So I was conscious about those two things, and I think I did. So in school, I met some amazing people. I met you, amazing.
Thank you.
I met Great, which is our mutual friend too. So
Yeah.
Great is still the second half of last, right?
Mm.
And he has been there from the start, even before we started, even before it was Blast. So basically, how did I know people to bring in? Just people with similar values that are teachable, that are not necessarily money oriented. Because I
Mm.
had somebody that I was a business partner with when it was A Mines, but he was more money oriented. He don't mind adding best Niger to our business, just anything that will bring profit. And I'm like,
Money.
we don't do bets here. Let's remove all these things. Let's just do what we came to do. So it was more like anything that will bring profit. So I couldn't work with him. So I think people I work with are people that we will make money once we're adding value to people, once we're doing
Mm.
valuable things. But let money not be the goal, the end
Yeah.
goal.
Let's not be at the core of the
Otherwise, people,
business.
yeah, so otherwise people will be able to compromise to make money.
Mm.
So that was where me and Great started to have an understanding. We are both spiritual. We both knew that everything has a process, everything will
Mm.
take time. But let's prayerfully follow up and see what this thing will become. I think that's one thing that's been key in
Mm.
the whole growth process is I don't want to miss out from what it could be. You know, the moment
Yeah.
you cut something, you never know what it can go to become.
Mm.
So the whole process has always been how do we not stop and let's see what it will be in 5 years. Let's see what it will be in
Mm.
10 years. Because the biggest regret would be to 5 years later, you start thinking, oh, I used to have one business. So I wonder what it would have been if I
Mm.
didn't drop it.
Yeah.
So failed relationships, many things that failed. I just try to, I mean, let this thing be constant in my life. Let this business just be there. There will be seasons where you are not doing well. There will be seasons where you are not. But thank God for the fact that it's an art business.
Mm.
Like for example, now if we were doing like a computer business, like I started with, you need money to run it. So day to day, you probably get four, you probably buy papers, probably
Mm.
repair machines. But for art, it's my hand, so I really don't really need money to
Don't need
run it.
much.
So I
Mm.
was happy, yeah. So I was happy that I was in a business where the startup capital was not so high. You know,
Yeah.
paper and pencil is not expensive, and then the maintenance cost too is not high. Just
Mm.
sit down and draw. Highest buy rechargeable lamp. I use
Mm.
rechargeable lamps to draw a lot of aspects. Don't even need lights. So 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 that was how. So my own aim was always maintain where we are, and just little upgrades every now and then. Because I also hate when you come back to something, or when somebody comes back to me and find me the same level where they found me before. So
Mm.
just little upgrade, and that's how we have come to where we are. That's how I've come
And
to where we
also
are.
bringing in people with the same mindsets, finding people with the same mindsets
Exactly. So yeah,
from church, from wherever,
yeah.
and building your
Then
own
I've learned not to
community.
commit too fast to people, So once I see someone that wants to be a
Mm.
part of us, I'm like, before we commit, let's test it out. So that I
Okay.
don't start looking for ways to break up later. Like, how do I tell you get out later? So I'll just tell
Okay.
you. So while you are coming in, I will just try to tell you that okay, it's a trial. Let's see how it goes
Mm.
for 1 month, 2 months. We're not aligning, our spirits don't align. So people will come and all their playlist is worldly music. I like some clean worldly music, but they're polluting my energy, the atmosphere. So those are
Mm.
people need to let them go. So similar mindset, and naturally they're just people from my church, fellowship. I
Yeah.
just gravitate closer.
Towards them
So that's
naturally.
how
Very true. Very true.
that's
So
it.
beyond painting now, you've picked up skills like video editing, drone
Yeah.
piloting, 3D modeling, and so
Yeah.
much more, right?
Yeah.
What drives your curiosity to keep learning these new things? And like how did you blend from arts into video editing and 3D modeling and all of this that you currently do? What drove your
Okay.
curiosity to learning those things? And how do you approach self-teaching? You are self-taught in most of these skills. How do you approach
Yeah.
self-teaching in such a fast-paced world?
Wow. Okay. Um, Now I've always enjoyed learning. I've always enjoyed I like that feeling of I open a new software like Blender, for example, and
Mm.
everything looks like Chinese. What is this process? What does this do? What does that do? And I'm like, oh, this is gonna be hell to learn. And then I say, oh yeah, let's start. Let's learn how to draw a box. Let's learn how to make the box into this shape and that shape. And
Mm.
then months later, you open that same software and you're like, okay, I'm not so lost anymore.
Yeah,
I know
you're
how to
not
get around.
familiar. Mm.
Yeah, I don't know everything, but at least I can open the software and get a job done. and
Yeah.
leave the rest I don't know for God. Don't need to know everything. Even Photoshop, I've used Photoshop for decades, maybe
Mm.
not decades, but a very long time.
Yeah.
And I don't know half of Photoshop, but I
Mm.
can do what I need to do well in it. So that was how I approach things. Is whatever you want to approach, you may not need to know everything about it, but knowing what you need to know to solve your problem at that moment is what's important.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's how I approach it. So the drone piloting, I'm not the best at it, the 3D modeling and all that. But for example, now I'm about to create a reception desk for my studio. And with the small space we have, I needed to design the desk myself. So I did the model in 3D and I showed
Mm.
it to the carpenter. And he was able to understand it very well. And I did the model in
Nice.
like 5 to 10 minutes. I
Wow.
just sketched out, I just drew out the 3D model of the desk. And I was like, okay, I'm getting good at this. So that's just it for me. Now it's not all these skills I monetize. So that's
Okay.
where the managing comes in. Skills are fancy, you can't make money with it. So it's
Mm.
not even I monetize, but they help me to solve my own needs.
Your own
For example,
problems. Yeah.
my own problem is like web design now. Web design is something I first dabbled into in secondary school. I dabbled into this with phone in secondary school. But over the line, I was like, I can't do everything myself. Let me pay someone to design a website for me. And I paid
Mm.
someone and they took my 80,000 naira then and ran away. They didn't do anything.
Oh my
I didn't even
God.
see domain name. I didn't see domain
Ouch.
name, talk less of anything. But
Ouch.
recently now I'm almost done with my website I'm building myself. So I built just like I'll do it myself. So I like doing it myself. I think that's just
Mm.
one thing about me. So if I have to pay somebody to do something, I like it because I want people to pay me too. So let me pay people too. But if if the quality is being questioned, then I think I'd rather do it myself. And if it's bad, I'll say, oh, I'm just learning. I'll do better
Mm-hmm.
than pay someone and the quality is not good enough. So that's my curiosity. I like doing things myself. I like learning how to do things better. So the drone piloting and also the needs usually drive it. So
Mm-hmm.
I started with drawing, right? And then I said, let me go into YouTube and teach people how to draw. So the need was I need to learn how to operate a digital camera. I was trying phone before, but I saw that phone quality is not good. I wanted to get that nice background blur. Okay, digital camera will do that better.
Mm.
So even years later, I learned about prime lens. I'm like, I just got the prime lens to have solved this background blur issue once on the camera. So the need was driving the quest for knowledge.
Yeah.
So getting digital camera, I needed to understand ISO, aperture, shutter speed, all the camera jungles, things that you would not have to know if you're using just a smartphone.
Mm.
So understanding that, I was like, wait, if I can get a good video quality on my phone, what's something that are pictures? I was taking pictures with it, and it was looking good. So my room studio lighting setup for my video was also good for photography. So my mom's birthday, I'll snap her in the room. Somebody, a friend will come take pictures of them in the room. Hence, that led to my photography studio idea.
Mm.
So I
Wow.
just put it out there. Oh, what would black photography look like? I'd like to start a photography studio. And then, one or two persons just be like, hey, come and cover my wedding. I think Pastor Peter was the first person that had to cover their wedding. I
Mm.
think so. And that trusted me with their wedding. Come and cover my wedding now. I was like, oh my God. I have to start watching tutorials about weddings. What kind of pictures should I take? Who should I snap? How many angles? How many pictures? Blah, blah, blah. We did not totally flop. We did a fair enough
You did a
job
good job.
with the
Yeah.
wedding. A fair enough job with the wedding. And that led to, okay, some wedding videos have drones shots. Maybe I can learn how to use a
Yeah.
drone. Maybe I can rent a drone. Oh, the renting of drone is expensive. You have to get the drone pilot to go with you. Okay,
Mm.
I met someone that had a drone. Can you teach me how to fly your drone? And then he taught me. I was like, this is not so difficult. So then I ordered for one cheap drone. I don't know if I can find the drone. Where's my cheap drone? Yeah, I ordered
You
for
still
this
have
cheap,
it.
cheap ass drone. Yes, from AliExpress. This drone is
But
like
you
was
know,
like
cheap is
$40,
relative, so I'm sure. Okay, $20,
$40 or
40.
$20 or thereabout. It was very cheap compared to the actual drone I have now, the DJI drone
Mm.
that is that's like how many dollars?
Don't
About
worry,
over
you
a
don't have to
thousand dollars.
mention. Ooh, okay.
Yeah, over $1,000. That just like 3 million naira or whatever. So, so the need for it drove me to learn.
Yeah. So you were
Yeah,
always
color grading
curious.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, the
I
color
was always
grading, how did
curious.
that was for your editing when you try to edit your videos?
Editing, yeah, I did my videos.
Mm,
So
interesting. You
that's
had
it.
a problem, but then you were curious to solve the problem yourself. That led you to
Yes,
learning, watching videos, talking to people,
yeah,
and then I also noticed. So you have this sense of self-belief. I mean, you were taking
mm,
photos in your mom's room, and then from there you just
yeah,
felt I can have a blast photography, and then you just picked it up,
yeah.
and now blast photography is a brand on its own. Now you're doing
It's
wedding
something.
shots. You did Pastor
Yeah,
Peter's wedding, and though
yeah,
you feel like it was a fair job, but I feel like it was really
yeah,
good. It was good, and
yeah.
now you are being invited to even travel out of the states to shoot other people's
Yeah,
wedding. So there's that sense of self-belief
that's it.
also in your own skills and growing. So if you could go back and speak to your 16-year-old self or the young man just entering electrical engineering in Uniben, just starting out, right? What would you say? I mean, based on where you are now, what would you tell yourself differently?
Okay. If I could go back, I would tell myself to still keep being more intentional about friends. Like it's
Mm,
not the wrong decision. Because many people want you to feel like you don't need people. People will backstab you. People will, looking at life from a pessimistic side. I'll tell myself to keep being optimistic. There are people that will actually stick with you. There are people that will
mm,
actually be a help to you in your journey of life. And I'll tell myself to don't not be scared to try new
mm,
things and to not be scared to fail. Because in failing, we get to learn how not to do it so we can try it another way again.
mm,
And then I would tell myself to get help, like work under people, like to save you a lot of time. If anything you want to do, you already have somebody that has gone ahead of you, mentoring you.
mm,
For example, the people I teach how to draw or how to do photography or anything way faster. So if I had for the things for the things I learned with pain and time and sweat, and when I'm teaching people now, it's a lot faster. And I feel like
mm.
these guys don't know what they are getting this fast.
Yeah.
Like in photography, before I learned what speed light was, because the thing with YouTube is many YouTubers they're just trying to keep their video in under 10 minutes. So they would leave many things off.
Mm,
So there's nothing like having a mentor. If I had a mentor in photography or all that early on, I would have done better in
mm,
art and photography and all that. So I think having a mentor is what I would have told myself is don't be scared to meet people that have gone ahead of you. Learn from them, ask them questions, just let them teach you what they already know. You will grow
mm.
faster by far. That's
Very
what I would
true.
have told myself.
Very true.
Yeah.
Very, very true. All right. Thank you so very much for sharing your experiences with us, Osaritin.
Thank
And this is
you.
just part one. We're looking forward to having you a second time
Yes.
to go into some
Yes.
nitty-gritties, into more details about your story. It's
I
been
would love
really,
that.
oh, thank you. Thank you. It's been really amazing listening to you. And there's so much to learn from your story. We hope the message gets to the world. Thank you so much for watching. I know you definitely got some value from this conversation. Please subscribe to this YouTube channel. Leave a comment on this video, ask your questions, share your thoughts. I'll definitely be with you in the comment section. And please like this video to help the algorithm. Take care and see you in the next one.